American billionaire Elon Musk has just done something insane with SpaceX that has shocked the entire space and rocket industry. It's been a week since the Starship's second integrated flight test, and there's a lot to discuss about the official post-flight report from SpaceX and Elon Musk. Join me today in this video where we shall explore how Elon SpaceX has shocked the entire industry.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of my channel.
Just after the amazing second orbital flight test of the Starship, Musk revealed some new details about the next version of the Raptor engine. Musk also announced that Starship version 1 is coming to an end, and teased the next crazy generation of Starship. On Friday, SpaceX's CEO Elon Musk shared a photo of the Starships at Starbase and said, "For more Starships, the last of V1." SpaceX first introduced the version 1.0 prototype of the Starship in 2020. Before that, they had built several Starship prototypes, but the V1 prototype was the first one designed for an orbital test flight. In this photo, we can see 28, 29, 30, and 31. This means that 32 and 33 might be cancelled, since they are based on the same design. For the future prototypes, version 2 of the ship holds more propellant, reduces dry mass, and improves reliability. Musk tweeted, "We can expect that the new ships will have 9 engines instead of 6 and carry about 1,800 tons of propellant instead of 1,200. They will also be longer, reaching 58 meters. This will make it easier for the booster to return to the launch site and increase the delta V of Starship when refueled in orbit." But how will they reduce the dry mass if they make the ships bigger? Well, one possibility is that they will use thinner steel, but that seems unlikely, as thinner steel would also need more internal support, which would still add more weight. In reality, SN 7.2 was tested with 3mm steel instead of 4mm back in January of 2021, so maybe they are thinking about switching back to that. Also, SpaceX will probably upgrade Starship to have 9 engines, 6 Raptor vacuum and 3 sea levels. More thrust means less gravity losses during ascent, which means more payload capacity. Of course, dry mass isn't just the hull. It also includes the engines, but keep in mind that the new Raptors they are working on don't need extra shielding inside the back section, so they might cut down on the dry mass a bit depending on how heavy the new Raptors are. They could also fit more propellant by shrinking the payload area and are using a flatter at EDOMs. Musk didn't say how much more propellant the newer ships will have, it might not even be that much more. With all the lessons learned from these tests, the next version of Starship and booster will make this one look like a toy rocket, and I wonder what the next generation after that will be like. As to when SpaceX could be ready to launch again, Musk stated that Starship Flight 3 hardware should be ready to fly in 3 to 4 weeks. He added that SpaceX already has 3 ships in final production, meaning any one of those could be the next flight-ready Starship. As per current developments, it looks like Starship 28 and Super Heavy Booster 10 will be launched next. Booster 10, which has completed its cryogenic proof tests, is currently inside the Mega Bay, waiting for engine installation. Starship 28 was removed from its engine installation stand near the Rocket Garden on Wednesday night. The ship, which has already completed its cryo-proof tests, has been getting ready for the next round of pre-launch tests for the past few weeks. Teams have already installed all 6 engines into the ship. Ship 28 was moved into the high bay Thursday morning, where it will complete the remaining thermal protection system tiles and prepare for static fire testing. The second-generation Raptor engines that flew on the recent flight went through major upgrades and extensive ground testing to improve reliability, replacing the less reliable first-generation Raptors. SpaceX is developing a Raptor 3 engine variant to fly on future Starship missions. Musk recently revealed that the Raptor 3 will have more thrust, a higher specific impulse, and many other improvements compared to its predecessors. SpaceX currently employs heavy-duty shields to keep the other engines safe in the event that one of them explodes during testing or launch. According to Musk, Raptor 3s are robust enough not to require a heat shield. This will make engine installation easier and reduce the overall weight of the launch vehicle. SpaceX has already begun testing Raptor 3 engines at its McGregor test facility. During a test conducted in May, an engine achieved 2.64 mN or 269 tons of thrust, operating at a chamber pressure of 350 bar. For comparison, the first-generation Raptor engines produced around 1.81 mN of thrust and the current V2 engines generate around 2.3 mN. With 33 Raptor V3 engines, future Super Heavy prototypes will produce a total thrust of 87.12 mn or 8,883 tons, making the Starship the most powerful rocket in history. Super Heavy Booster 11 was rolled back to the build site lately after completing its cryo-proof tests at NASA's. The booster was moved into the Mega Bay and later placed atop the engine installation stand for the installation of Raptors. Engine installation will be quicker and simpler, thanks to the new installation stand inside the Mega Bay. Starship 29 was relocated from the Rocket Garden into the High Bay last Monday night. The ship has already completed 3 cryoproof tests. That same night, Ship 31 made her way to the Rocket Garden from the High Bay. The ship is yet to begin its cryoproof test campaign. Recently on X, Elon Musk shared a photo of starships inside the High Bay and stated that they are the last of the first-generation starships. This means that SpaceX is going to make changes to the Starship design and will build the next iteration of the vehicle. Musk mentioned that version 2 of the ship would hold more propellant, reduce dry mass, and improve reliability, but he did not specify much about the features of future Starship variants. But based on his past weeks, we can make some educated guesses. Previously, Musk said that future starships will feature 3 additional Raptor vacuum engines and propellant tanks will be extended by at least 5 to 10 meters. The spacecraft is currently 50 meters tall and features 6 Raptors. The increase in the number of engines to 9 and a greater propellant capacity will increase the Starship's total thrust and allow it to launch more payloads into orbit. Furthermore, upgrading from second-generation Raptors to third-generation will boost the Starship's thrust and payload capacity. The second-generation Starships will also feature upgrades based on lessons learned from recent integrated flight tests and pre-launch ground tests. New and stronger welds can be expected in future Starship variants. Super Heavy boosters might also receive some of these design upgrades in the future. Currently, ships up to 34 are under production at Starbase. So, ships beyond 34 will probably be the ones that receive the upgrades. What design changes do you believe SpaceX will likely incorporate into future Starship vehicles? Meanwhile, Starship's arch-rival Blue Origin's New Glenn is expected to launch in August of 2024. Indeed, NASA expects that a Mars smallsat mission will be on the first launch of Blue Origin's New Glenn launch vehicle within a year, although with some risk about whether the rocket will be ready in time. NASA selected Blue Origin back in February to launch the Escape and Plasma Acceleration and Dynamics Explorers, or ESCAPADE, mission, a pair of smallsats that will study the interaction of the solar wind with the magnetosphere of Mars. The contract value was not initially announced, but later was disclosed in a federal procurement database at $20 million. At a November 20 meeting of the NASA Advisory Council's Human Exploration and Operations Committee, Bradley Smith, director of NASA's Launch Services Office, said he was incredibly excited about the ESCAPADE mission, which he said was scheduled for about 1 year. His charge, though, in past presentations, listed an August 2024 launch for ESCAPADE. It's an incredibly ambitious first launch for New Glenn and we really appreciate the partnership, he said. During the committee meeting, he confirmed that NASA expected ESCAPADE to be on the inaugural New Glenn launch. We will very likely be the very first launch of New Glenn, he said. That is acceptable, Smith said. Since ESCAPADE is what NASA characterizes as a Class D mission with a higher tolerance for risk, we're willing to take a little bit of risk with a price tag and a mission assurance model that reflects that risk. Besides the inherent technical risks in the first launch of a new rocket, there are also schedule risks. New Glenn development is years behind the original schedule Blue Origin put forward. The company has not provided recent updates about progress towards a first launch of the rocket, although Jarrett Jones, Senior Vice President for New Glenn at Blue Origin, said at World Satellite Business Week in September that the first flight vehicle would arrive at a Florida integration facility by the end of the year, with the company planning multiple launches of New Glenn in 2024. There's certainly some schedule risks associated with New Glenn getting to the pad, Smith said. Noting he has seen Blue Origin's schedule for the vehicle but did not disclose details about it, he declined to put a percentage out there on the odds the launch will happen on schedule. With the SpaceX Raptor engine, the SpaceX Super Heavy Starship can already propel itself with over double the thrust of the Saturn V. The SpaceX 1337 is a key breakthrough that goes beyond the SpaceX Raptor, according to Walter Isaacson's biography of Elon Musk. The extreme proposals that Elon Musk and SpaceX are considering include combining the fuel pump and main chamber injector and removing the entire hot fuel gas manifold. "We are on a deletion rampage," Elon Musk announced to his staff. Every dubious tube sensor and manifold was removed. Likewise, Elon has considered taking off the booster's whole skirt. The SpaceX Raptor engines are currently incredibly efficient, but LEAT-1337 will have significantly more chamber pressure, allowing for much more thrust. SpaceX LEAT-1337 engines are going to be lighter, more affordable and simpler. From the same sized factory that currently produces 4,000 Raptor engines annually, SpaceX will probably be able to build them at 10 times the production volume. Elon has stated that in order to reach 9 engines for the Starship upper stage, the current Starship has 6 engines. For more payload capacity, the next SpaceX Starship might be equipped with 3 extra Raptor vacuum engines. Given that each SpaceX Raptor engine currently costs $1 million, the cost of a whole Starship is $18 million as it has 9 engines that require twice as much money to operate. But what if the cost of future SpaceX Raptor engines would be $500,000 each? A spacecraft with 9 engines? The total cost of a whole Starship is $9 million since the cost of the engine is doubled. 9 engines on a Starship might bring down the cost of the entire spacecraft to $3.6 million if the SpaceX 1337 engine costs $200,000 apiece. 9 engines on a Starship might bring down the cost of the entire spacecraft to $1.8 million if the SpaceX 1337 engine costs $100,000 apiece. The Raptor 1 and Raptor 2 were compared by Everyday Astronaut. In a recent test flight earlier this year, the SpaceX Raptor 3 achieved 18% greater thrust than the Raptor 2. In comparison to the Raptor 1, the Raptor 2 had 25% more thrust and was 20% lighter. It is preferable to have a lighter engine with the same or greater thrust. The larger and heavier RS-25 engines which powered the Space Shuttle and are still utilized for the SLS space launch system are presently outperformed in thrust by the SpaceX Raptors. The Starship launch vehicle has been in development by SpaceX from 2019. All the components of the spacecraft and rocket have been tested and refined over the years to create a dependable vehicle that may eventually reach orbit and beyond. At its Starbase facility on Boca Chica Beach, Texas, SpaceX conducted its first fully integrated test flight on April 20, providing engineers with a chance to collect vital data about the Raptor engine and the stainless steel rocket ship. Engineers learned enough during the rocket's 4-minute, nearly 40-kilometer high flight, despite its failure to enter orbit, to determine what needs to be improved in order for the vehicle to do so. The Super Heavy rocket used at least 30 of the 33 Raptor V2 engines to break off during that initial orbital attempt. Methalox, a mixture of cryogenic liquid methane and liquid oxygen, powers the Raptors. The engine used in this Starship prototype is the Raptor V2, which is the second version. According to SpaceX, it has more power, less parts, meaning that its mass is lighter than that of the V1 engine. Both sea-level variants of the same nozzle X diameter and comparable proportions. However, V2 has less visible plumbing and wiring. V1 has a mass of 2,000 kilograms while V2 is 1,600 kilograms. The thrust produced by the Raptor V2 is approximately 230 tons, compared to the 185 tons produced by the V1 model. The company's efforts to increase propulsion and performance while reducing manufacturing time by adding fewer components will be crucial in the future, where they aim to construct a fleet of hundreds of Starships and establish facilities on Mars and the Moon. And that's about it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in, and that's all for today's update. If you enjoyed watching and found it useful, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. And if you want to support our channel and if you want to be up to date, you can become an exclusive member, so click on our perks through the link in the description below. Thanks to watching and see you next time.